G'day guys, my name's iRide Taz, and today we are delving into the black arts with Project Gilby, the budget bobber build. A video request more than anything, but it's something that I needed to do and needed to check since I've put the new fuel pump on the bike. Ultimately, we're going to have a play with the tuning, and there's a number of different methods to use here, and I'm probably going to use two. The lean drop method, and then just taking it out on the road and giving it a ride and tuning it to the conditions. And no matter what this bike comes out at, whether it's 2.5 turns, 3 turns, whatever, it's going to be different for your bike, because every bike is different. It depends on the altitude you ride it at, etc, etc, etc. So use this as a guide, not as gospel. I'm not a mechanic, so ultimately this is just me messing around doing a video for someone who asked how to tune a V-Star. Disclaimer aside, guys, basically this is what you're after there. The air fuel mixture screw. If your bike has never been played with, that might have a plastic cover, a rubber cover inserted into it, or it may actually even have a brass cover. And the brass cover's the tricky one, because you'll have to take this off and drill into it carefully without damaging the actual air fuel screw to get at it so that you can adjust it with a screwdriver. Half. One. Half. Two. Three. So mine was sitting at 3 turns out. So as a starting point with the Virago 250, they tend to suggest to wind this out 1 3/4 to 2 turns. So I might start with 2 turns and see how it goes. So next step is to lift the bike just off idle and screw it in until it starts huffing. Okay, so just lifting the bike off idle, turning it. Yeah, it's starting to huff, and so back 1/4 of a turn. So you're starting at the recommended number of turns out, which for this bike it's usually recommended to start at 1 3/4. And then you lift the bike just off idle, screw in till it starts to struggle, and then screw back out 1/4 of a turn. And that's usually recommended to be where it sits. If you adjust the air fuel, the next thing that you want to adjust is your idle. So it's struggling there. If you look at the light, it's not flicking, it's not struggling, it's not lumpy, it's not trying to be a Harley. see it's sort of warm. It's about to conk out. There, that's a warm engine, it's running, that's not struggling. So realistically, the next step will be to take it for a ride and see how it performs on the road and do potentially some fine tuning out on the road. So make sure you've got your screwdriver and just give me a minute to go and get some gear and we'll take it out. So the bike is pulling away nicely. It's idling at the crossroads nicely. It accelerates through to 60 without bogging down, lagging. At the moment there's no popping on D-cell. When you pull up, on this bike I find if it's too rich you get a boom sound, like a hollow doof in the exhaust as it backfires. Accelerates all the way through to 110, no problem. Getting good, pull away in third. Pulling away adequately in fourth. And cruising as it should in fifth. So tuning a bike Can be tricky. And what's working for my bike here won't necessarily work with your bike, but it's pretty easy. You just warm the bike up to operating temperature on an XV250. Start at about 1 3/4 turns out. Wind it in until it huffs and puffs. Wind it out 1/4 of a turn. And then the air fuel screw is quite sensitive. So take it for a ride. If it bogs down or it breaks up at high revs and high speed, just richen it up a fraction. No more than 1/4 turn increments out, and you should be on your way. Make sure you adjust the idle. Bring it back down, because as soon as you adjust the air fuel, it'll ultimately be idling too high or low. Easy. Guys, I hope that helped. Thank you for the couple of requests I had through email, through comments, through Facebook, to do a video on how to tune an XV250. Hope it helps you guys. Guys, my name's Alright Taz. This is Project Gilby, the Budget Bobber Build. I'll see you next time. I am out.